Kate, where have you brought me? I can't see a thing.
Just a minute, I'll find the lights.
Lights? What do you mean? You've not brought your own candles, surely?
No, that's just it. You don't need candles here. They have special lamps here. They work like magic. Wait here and I'll turn them on.
Oh my goodness! What on earth is happening? Where's all this bright light coming from?
Isn't it marvellous?
No, it's terrifying. What is this place? Are we in hell?
Goodness me, no. I think it'll be a lot hotter. It's called a museum. It's got lots of interesting things in here. It opened long after we were dead and buried.
But why have you brought me here? I don't like it. I want to go back up.
Oh, Soph, there's no need to be scared. I've been in so many times. Come on, I want to show you something. Look, Soph. Look at this. Isn't it marvellous?
Oh, it's the Ivanhoe baths. They were in Ashby, weren't they?
They were in Ashby, all right. Don't you remember the summer seasons we spent there?
Oh, yes. I remember the dances in the ballroom.
I'm sure you do. I remember you dancing with that dashing lord. Oh, what was his name? Oh, the things you got up to.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean. Besides, my great aunt was always chaperoning me. She never would have let anything inappropriate happen.
Well, I remember you dancing with him more than once. Look, they've even got one of your old dance cards here. The Gallop, Lord Leicester. The Polka, Lord Leicester. The Last Waltz, Lord Leicester. I bet that was a really slow waltz.
Give me that card. Where could they have got one of our dance cards? Oh, Kate, it's not one of mine at all. It's dated 1889, long after my time. You're just making that up.
What are you two silly girls doing down there? Up to no good, I'll be bound.
Oh, Great Aunt Emily.
Lady Boswell, we were just looking at this model of the Ivanhoe baths. Isn't it marvellous?
Not a place I remember fondly. How long have you been down there? You're not alone and unchaperoned, are you?
We've only just arrived, Great Aunt. We'll be back very soon, we promise.
Yes, we are quite safe. Please don't worry about us.
Well, see that you behave.
Oh my goodness, Soph. I thought she was going to come down here and grab hold of both of us. Why doesn't she remember the Bath family?
Well, she took to the waters to cure some of her many ailments. Apparently it was very unpleasant and it didn't work.
Unpleasant? Nonsense. I myself published a book about Ashby in 1831, in which I devoted over a dozen pages to the marvellous waters and their effects. Let me read some of it to you now.
Oh goodness, it's bound to be gruesome.
Used internally, the Ashby waters acts with manifest advantage in cases of indigestion, nervous and hectic atrophy, worms, scrofula, and the mesenterical affections of children. The cold bath would contribute to the cure of recent cutaneous eruptions, especially those which consist of pimples, blebs, pustules, scurfs and scales. It weakens the causes of protracted diarrhea, dysentery and hemorrhoidal or other disorders of the alimentary canal.
Oh please, Mr. Waite, do stop. You're making me feel quite ill.
Making you feel ill? The waters would have quite the opposite effect. I take it you two never went in for any of the treatments.
Oh no, we were only interested in the dancing.
Yes, you silly girls. I remember girls like you, heads full of air.
Who's he?
Lord Francis Rawdon Hastings. He had the baths built in 1822, but died in 1826, before we ever came to Ashby.
Yes, I had the baths built, but I only ever managed one brief visit. But it's one that I will never forget. When my carriage reached the Tamworth Road, the horses were unyoked and enthusiastic townspeople drew it into the town. Market Street was beautifully decorated, and we had the most magnificent dinner in the concert room at the baths.
The concert room? Why didn't they dine in Hastings Hotel?
Oh, the hotel hadn't been built. It opened in 1828. Did you know they later changed the name to the Royal Hotel?
Did they? I bet Lord Hastings didn't like that.
But he was dead by then, so you wouldn't have known.
Indeed I did know. An infernal cheek, I thought, when I looked down at it from up here.
Lord Hastings, why don't you come down and join us? It's great fun down here.
Good Lord, no. I wouldn't be seen dead in Ashby on a Saturday night.
But Lord Hastings, you are dead.
Foolish girls.
Well, thank goodness he's gone. Did you ever stay in the Hastings Hotel, Soph?
Oh no. Great Aunt Emily would never have agreed to stay in a public hotel. We always took a house in Rawdon Terrace for the season. It was a beautiful house, and in those days it had a beautiful view of the bath grounds.
But staying in the hotel was much more fun.
Yes, but Aunt Emily is such a snob and a bore.
I'm still here, you know. I can hear you.
Oh, Aunt Emily, I'm so sorry.
Ark at them two carrying on with their fancy ways.
Yeah, make you sick of their airs and graces. Ivanhoe baths? Not for the likes of us. We had to lump it with our pimples and pustules.
Oh my goodness. Who are these dreadful people, Kate?
Take no notice, Soph. They're rough and nasty. We don't want anything to do with them.
No, and we wouldn't want anything to do with you stuck-up bitches.
Yeah, stick your fancy waters up you know where.
Oh, Kate, such language. I think I might succumb to an attack of the vapours.
Ha! Just listen to the silly cow. Where's your fancy water baths now, eh?
Yeah, we never got a chance to go to places like that. We weren't even allowed into the bath grounds.
Really? Why not?
People like them were considered too dirty and smelly, I suspect.
Not at all, you cheeky bitch. We could never afford it. You had to pay just to go into the pleasure grounds.
Yeah, there are no fancy water cures for the likes of us.
Oh, but just a minute, young lady. There was something for the poor. I was the chairman of the Saline Baths Committee in Bath Street. That establishment was started expressly to allow the poor, like you, to enjoy the waters.
Ark at him. The poor like you? Who does he think he is?
Important. He thinks he's important. Well, he was the Vicar of Ashby and he was in charge of the workhouse. So look out, Lizzie, or he might put you in there.
I like to see him try. Anyway, them baths weren't for the poor neither. You still had to pay 5 shillings a week hired.
Imagine that.
Well, thank goodness they've gone. Oh, but we did have some lovely times there, didn't we?
We certainly did. But it didn't go on forever.
Well, of course. We didn't go on forever. But the baths?
No, even the baths themselves came to an end. I read about it here in the museum before. The people stopped coming and the baths closed down.
Yes, but not before we moved in. My school moved there when I was about 10.
Your school? What school is that?
The classical school, part of Ashby Grammar School. We played cricket on Bath Meadow and football and other things too.
Oh, Kate, how ghastly. Can you imagine? All those smelly schoolboys in our beloved ballroom.
It wasn't us that was smelly. The drain stank and we moved out dead quick, I can tell you.
Yes, the building got into a sorry state. We even had to demolish the dome in 1883, which had become unsafe. It was a great pity. We had to close the whole place down. We did reopen later in the decade, and the baths were much improved and extended. We held bazaars and galas on the Bath Meadow, and I had great hopes that the baths would be restored to their former glory.
But they weren't.
For a few years, things were not too bad. I believe that at the Bank Holiday Fete in 1905, of course I was not there myself, I had passed over by then, there were 6,000 or 7,000 visitors on the Bath grounds. They saw a cricket match and an amazing parachute jump by Mr. Midson.
Parachute jump? What on earth is that?
Look up above your heads and you will see one. Of course, that is not Mr. Midson. That is the famous Miss Dolly Shepherd. She came later.
Look out below! I don't want the landing to be as bad as the last time I was in Ashby. That was a bit painful, I can tell you. I let go of the balloon at about 4,000 feet, and it looked like I was going to land in a field. But then, at the last minute, the wind just took me and blew me onto a barbed wire fence. Left me hanging with the barbs sticking into the backs of my legs. Agony! Worse still, the knickerbocker suit I had on had ripped and was hanging down by my knees. I was mortally embarrassed. But when a young gentleman arrived, I just had to forget all that and ask him to help me down.
Good Lord. Can you imagine daring to jump out of a hot air balloon?
My dear, I can't imagine daring to wear clothes like that. They're a bit, well, what can I say?
Oh, Sophie, so old-fashioned. You should see what they wear today.
I'd rather not, if you don't mind. In fact, I'm beginning to wish we'd never come here in the first place. I've not heard anything particularly pleasant, and it's so sad to think there were no more dances in our beloved ballroom after our day.
Oh no, dear, that's not right. I can remember dancing there after the Great War.
The Great War? When was that?
Between 1914 and 1918. I was born before the war, but I wasn't old enough to go to grown-up dances until afterwards. In my day, you had to have left school before you could go to proper dances, and you had to know how to do the proper dances.
What sort of dances did you do?
The waltz, the gallop, the valletta.
What about the lancers?
Oh, that was considered old-fashioned in my day. If you wanted to be really modern, you did the Charleston. Oh, the ballroom was beautiful. It had huge doors leading out to the terrace, and in the opposite wall there was an alcove where the dance bands played. Above it was a little gallery from which balloons and streamers were thrown at the end of the evening. The dances were always beautifully organised and very gracious.
Oh yes, just like in our day.
The men were in dinner jackets and the ladies in full evening dress. We all had the usual little cards of numbered dances, tiny pink and blue pencils attached to the cards by silk cord and tassel. And woe betide any poor gal who hadn't a partner for the supper dance. She'd have to fend for herself at the buffet table, or tag on to another pair. There was never enough men to go round. So many had been killed in the war, you see.
Oh, how dreadful.
How sad.
What about the pleasure grounds? Were they still there?
Oh yes. The fountain wasn't working in my day, but there was still a few tennis courts and a croquet lawn. Then there was the bowling green, very serious and private.
Yes, and I played cricket on Ashby Bath grounds. I played for the county when I was in my prime, and we often had county matches at Ashby. That was in the 1950s.
Yes, I used to watch the matches in the 1950s. There were no dances in my day, though. In fact, we used to play badminton in the old ballroom. It had got pretty shabby by then. I well remember one night when a piece of the parapet fell down when we were playing a match. We were never allowed to play again after that. It was the beginning of the end, really.
Oh no. Oh, Kate, did they really just let our beloved baths tumble down?
No, they didn't just tumble down. As council surveyor, I was ordered to have them demolished in 1962.
Don't blame us on the council either. It wasn't our recommendation that they be demolished. We couldn't get out of it. We hadn't the money with which to object.
So it's true. The baths are all gone? Nothing left at all? Nothing. No more dances even. Oh, Kate, why did you bring me here? I feel so miserable now. I was fine before we came here.
I'm sorry, So. I thought you'd like to see the lovely model and remember all the fun times we had.
Is there really nothing left at all? No more pleasure grounds even?
Oh no, they're still there. They're called the Bath Grounds. I hear people still play cricket there.
But no more dances.
No.
And I suppose the pleasure grounds will be gone soon too.
They won't let that happen.
How can you know that, Kate? I hear they're building houses everywhere in Ashby now.
Not on the Bath Grounds. They won't let that happen. Ever.